your external reality it's the reflection of your internal reality. So a lot of times I even found myself, I'm chasing something, it's not coming, I want to bring something into my life, it's not coming. I'm like, well, what is going on inside me, and what is the story I'm telling myself inside me?
So what is up, everybody, and welcome to the Everything is Influence podcast, where we connect with, really influential people that have had an influence on my life and the lives of others to make this world a better place. As always, we go through the 4 levels of influence, ultimately how we influence ourselves, how we take that certainty, that confidence, that connection, that wisdom, whatever we've created, cultivated, generated within ourselves, and how do we transfer that to another human being in a meaningful way. Level 3 influences, how do we do that at scale? How do we do that to groups? If we're in business, we got to master this. And ultimately, level 4 influences, how do you scale your influence when you're not there? People, products, like taking your values and infusing those in the masses so you can make a measurable difference in the world. And today I'm genuinely pumped to be talking to a friend that I've known for, I guess, maybe 5-6 years now. And all of us have something in common, that we all have a body. And most of us want to have energy. We want to look good. We want to feel good. And this guy he's revolutionized fitness. Everybody that I know who are high performance entrepreneurs follow his plan in some way. And he's made a measurable difference in the lives of the people, making measurable difference in the lives of others. So this is one of the people that's really been the tip of the spear in the fitness business and changed the way we think about food and ultimately how we get more out of our lives without sacrificing what we want to eat. So Mr. Greg O'Gallagher, it is great to connect with you and see you, buddy. How you doing?
Dude, I'm doing amazing. That was a freaking awesome, warm introduction. Thank you. I appreciate that. I'm pumped to be on here with you. I love your stuff, and we got to connect in Miami next week.
Yeah, I missed you here. But maybe I'll see you in a couple of weeks. But there's so much I want to talk to you about, and I was thinking about it this morning, how we connected and all that. But just for context, if you could let people know, what are you doing right now, and kind of what is your business all about? This Kino Body. I know you've got fitness stuff, you got supplements, you got the YouTube channel, you got, you're everywhere right now. And I'm wearing one of your shirts. So let everybody know kind of what you're up to in the world and kind of how you got to this place. Let the people know what you're doing right now in your business and in your life.
Yeah. So, I started things when I was very young. I started things at 19 years old, starting blogging, doing some content. And very quickly, I started to put together my own fitness courses because I would put out content on fitness. I would talk about other people's workout routines. I'd create some of my own for little blog articles. And there was a huge demand for, hey, Greg, create a system for getting lean, for gaining muscle. And so I started off with building my own fitness programs and then marketing that on blogs and YouTube. And it scaled really, really quickly. And then over the years, we've had hundreds of thousands of people go through these fitness programs. And then the next thing that we did was we created a line of supplements that I really believe in, all natural supplements. I just finished drinking our Kino Octane. So we have a supplement line, and then we built a clothing line of cuts of clothing that are really tapered to the individual that works out, that has that V shape. They have that movie star body, and they want to get that shirt that's going to fit perfectly. It's going to hug their chest and shoulders, to drape on their waist, where they stand out and they look their best. And so that's kind of the business right now. The biggest part of the business is our Kino Octane. It's our supplement line, Kino Octane Collagen. And then actually we're launching something really cool. It might actually be out now. It's the Kino Club. It's our new kind of fitness club where you join. It's monthly, and you get this awesome community. You get access to my fat loss, muscle building programs. And it's really designed to get you the best results possible because you're part of the community. You get help with coaches. And so that's something that we're really passionate about right now. So it's really the supplement line, the clothing, and the Kino Club.
I have all these friends, and I coach a lot of young men. And typically one of the things that most coaching programs have is some form of a vision board, and people have on there cars, houses, things they want to have, but also something in their body, like what they want to look like. And you are the picture on most dudes like vision board of what they want to look like. I remember when we met, I think we were hanging out with Ty Lopez. I know I
Yeah.
hung out with him, and Owen connected us. You were just kind of starting with your, I guess, the fitness mark. You were obviously very fit at the time. And you're, one of the things about you too, you're very strong. You're strong. Have you always been strong like this? Like, I mean, seeing you in these videos. And so it's cool for folks listening. We all want to have more influence over ourselves and others. Fitness is a big part of it. And you figured some things out. And then you also started to market this way of thinking in a really cool way that we're gonna unpack here today, which is, just kind of made a celebrity around you in this space. And you teach like celebrity body, Hollywood body. But what was the origins of this? Were you always just strong and fit? Because you look in great shape. What's kind of the background there, the backstory on how you've gotten this psychology, this methodology in your fitness specifically?
Yeah, I was the kid like at 13 that was doing push-ups, that wanted to be strong and wanted to build a powerful physique. And so I started training at a very young age with bodyweight training, and then quickly weight training and trying different styles of workouts. But I knew that one of the reasons why I created my company and my fitness philosophy is that there wasn't another fitness philosophy that really sucked me in, where I was like, yes, this is what it's about. This is what it's about. There was bodybuilding, but bodybuilding wasn't, didn't have it right. It was chasing too much mass. It was obsessing in the gym. It was sacrificing your life and just devoting your entire existence to the gym and getting bulky and too big. And then it's a dark road that if you go into bodybuilding, it's a very dark road. So that I wasn't interested in. Some of the training for athletes, for mixed martial artists and football players, I found pretty cool. I was like, okay, this is interesting. But again, it didn't necessarily help create the body I wanted. And again, I wasn't necessarily trained to become a football player. So it's like, it was cool if that's the athletic, sport that you're involved in. But I was like, okay, that's kind of interesting. Some of the bodybuilding stuff some of this stuff was interesting. But what I wanted was, I've been obsessed with fitness. I've put in 2 hour, 3 hour workouts a day and and then being meticulous, eating every 2 to 3 hours. And then I'm like, well, look, like, how am I supposed to have a life doing this? Yeah. How am I supposed to, go on dates doing this? How am I supposed to like fucking, live the life of my dreams doing this? And so what I wanted was, what was the body I actually wanted to create? Because it's important to kind of be intentional and kind of realize, like the vision board, have that idea of what I want to look like. And what I realized was that, like the real goal, it's not to look like a 220-pound bodybuilder. That's not even healthy for you. That's not even realistic. It's not necessarily to look like some athlete. It's like, what do we want to look like? A freaking movie star. When you see Ryan Reynolds or Chris Evans get in shape for that movie, that's what people want to look like.
Yeah. That's it. It is interesting you said that. The whole like bodybuilding thing. I worked at a Gold Gym for years, and I was one of the guys in college. I got up to 220. I was eating 14,000 calories a day. And it's built in insecurity. Like I was just obsessed with eating, how I looked. It's like depressing. And then you might go, take a vacation or something. You're thinking about food all the time. Like I'm with my mom. I'm like angry that I've not gotten my macros in, and just, I'm like upset all the time, or like, hey, there's just too much fat in this, or I'm, mad at the waiter because there's like butter on my potatoes or something. And it's just like you're freaking, it's like, it's weird. It's just, you have no life. And a lot of those people are depressed. And I think, a lot of the whole bodybuilding thing, because you're obsessed with your physicality and it's never enough. So there's like no ideal, and it's competitive. It's like a weird thing, and you don't get to have a life. And so you wanted to just like enjoy your life and look good.
Exactly. Yeah.
And you started doing like this, I guess, intermittent fasting. And was that like new? Because you were there was a couple other people, there was like 3 videos on it on all of YouTube back when you started. Like you got this idea, you started doing it, and then you created like a brand and systems around it to help people with different looks of their body and supplements to support. What was the evolution of that? You just saw that like this methodology, you just started trying different things, or how'd you find this?
The evolution was quite natural. There was only a handful of maybe 4 or 5 individuals that were little known that were talking about fasting. So it was a very, very small community. In the mainstream, it was completely and absolutely fringe. I remember when I was 19 years old, and if I could be in any group of any people, and if I was like, yeah, I'm skipping breakfast, I'm doing the single intermittent fasting, they would think that's terrible for you. That's bad for you. You're gonna gain weight. You're gonna lose muscle. But how it started was I hadn't achieved my fitness goals when I was 19, 20. I was struggling. I had a goal. I wanted to look like the movie star body, and the struggle was staying lean. The struggle was getting under 10% body fat, staying lean, and being able to enjoy the process. If you are battling your hunger, battling this diet, using willpower all the time, it's just not sustainable. So I was struggling to really have the leanness dialed in. And I tried low carb, I tried keto, I tried I tried doing small meals. I tried pretty much everything, doing lots of cardio and this and that. And it would work, but I couldn't stick to it. I get some results, but I couldn't stick to it, or I'd get some down. Maybe if I went too low carb, I couldn't sleep, or my sex drive went down, which is kind of weird when you're 20 years old. But I had that when I cut my carbs completely, my sex drive was not the same. And then I started to read about intermittent fasting. Initially I was like, this is not good. This is not supposed to be good for you. And then I started to kind of get into the research, and follow the methodology and also use critical thinking. Like, hey, if intermittent fasting is so bad for you, how did humans even evolve and get? And once a light went off, and I started doing fasting, and I realized it actually helped make getting lean a lot easier. Like you, when you're trying to gain muscle, although you're going like too extreme in that, but if you're trying to gain muscle, like the freedom to kind of realize, hey, I don't have to eat every 2 to 3 hours. I can have, 2 meals a day. Like, I can eat a medium-sized lunch, a huge dinner, a couple little snacks. And if I don't have to get this perfect, like every 2 to 3 hours, if I want to eat a 16-ounce steak at dinner, that's fine. My body's going to absorb all of that. So it was a huge amount of freedom in fasting. And what I noticed some very, very cool benefits. One, you kind of turn on the fat loss switch, especially like psychologically. When you wake up and you fast, your body kind of gets used to, hey, I don't need to eat every 2 hours. My body doesn't, I'm tapping into, my body fat stores, and you kind of, you lose that attachment where you need food all the time. You're just looking for that next little meal. So it makes getting leaner easier. I found I'd have insane focus where I'd wake up and like sometimes, you have breakfast and then you're kind of like, messing around. Like when I fasted, I had some coffee. I was just wanting to work. I just want to get stuff done. And so like I grew my business very substantially when I was fasting, because every day, I don't care if it was Saturday, Sunday, Christmas, I'm like, I kind of want to work. I kind of want to get stuff done. I was just like, my mind was always like, kind of like ready to go. I didn't want to just, if you're fasting and having coffee, you don't want to like, just lounge around. You want to go. And you're in that, sympathetic nervous system. And, your focus is improved. So I found fasting very, very cool. And then I started to kind of really put the pieces together where it's like, okay, if we want to build this movie star body, this is how the workout has to be. Here's how much focus you have to put on the shoulders, the chest, the upper chest, the legs. And so you can take someone and give them a weight training program, and you can build their body in 2, 3, 4, 5 different ways. And the hard to build muscle groups are the shoulders. Most people that lift and bodybuild, they grow size in their legs and butt easily, their chest, their lats, but often like their shoulders, their upper chest is lacking. And so I actually kind of flipped the script around. I put the most amount of attention to the shoulders. And a lot of people don't know this, but the muscle group, the V taper is pivotal, but the actual muscle on your upper body that has the highest potential to gain pure muscle mass, weight, is your shoulders. Your shoulders actually have the greatest potential to put on muscle. And so shoulders actually are completely undertrained, where a lot of times people will shoulders will be an afterthought. They'll do a lot of chest and they'll hit shoulders where they're fatigued, or they'll do a lot of chest. And the next day when their muscles are still recovering, they'll hit shoulders, but they'll never really be that strong. So like one of the key components of my program is getting very strong on shoulders. Working up to 80-pound dumbbells, 90-pound, 100 pounds. I think at my strongest, I got up to 120-pound dumbbells for 5. And I was a bit heavier then. I was like 185 versus 177. But
what are you right now?
Right now I weigh like 177.
177. That's when I was at my best. When I did fitness modeling when I did the whole 6-7 meals thing a day, glutamine before, like just nonstop. And I just was messing around with it. I played with my water intake and all that. And I wanted to get down to like 0% body fat. I was obsessed. And I did it I was probably early 20s. I got as close to 0 as possible. I could see striations in my butt cheeks. Like people talk about striations on your chest, all that stuff. I can see when you can see striations on your butt cheeks. That's when you know you're lean.
That's the highest level. Yeah, that's like essential levels. Yeah,
I'm like I'm about to die. I was sitting in the sauna, cut water, all that stuff. Like it's just terrible. And there's a picture of me somewhere where I was about 31, and I got down really low again. But it took me I felt just terrible. So you were really clear on what you wanted, and then you found this intermittent fasting. I know. And you started to play with different stuff.
And that's also one of the problems with bodybuilding and fitness modeling in general is that they tend to hover around 10-12% body fat most of the year, and then they try and get down to 4%, which is unhealthy for you. Your hormonal will shut down. It's unsustainable. It's simply not good for you. And so there's no benefit to getting to 4 or 5% body fat. It's too extreme. But they spend very little time in that sweet spot where you look like a freaking movie star, which is like 7-8%, 7-8, maybe for some 9. And so they kind of spend they spend very little time in the sweet spot, because it's all about, okay, I'm at 10-12% gaining muscle, and then let's kind of get down to 4, and then they get there and then they balloon back up because they can't. When you get that lean, your body wants to kind of gain the weight back. Because again, our genetic code is wired for survival. If you let your body get to so lean, you have very minimal fat left. It's pretty much essential. Then your body's like, well, we live in a harsh environment where there's food shortages. So when food becomes available and that contest is over and we're eating again, your body you don't want to stop. That's the problem. When you get too lean, you don't want to stop. And we had this guy that was, doing modeling for our clothing line, and he was into the fitness stuff, and he got pretty lean for some contest. And then next time I saw him a few weeks later, he was 25 pounds heavier. And he didn't do that intentionally. It wasn't his fault. It's so extreme. He just didn't stop.
It's interesting you use that word balloon up, that term, and so I have a kinesiology, degree, and I'd studied nutrition in school, but I was just obsessed with all this stuff. And I use these outdated tactics. And now, I'm 44 now, and I don't look terrible, but I can see it in people. Like I'm looking at you right now, and you got great skin, like really clean, and it's consistent. And what a lot of people don't realize, when you have like an influx of like salt and not that it's bad, or caffeine, and the consistency is what your body is trying to get to, that homeostasis. But when you're dehydrating your cells, like say your skin cells, you take all the water out, and then you drink water and you put them back in, or you're in the sun, dehydrate the cells, then drink water. You have a salt diet, and then you cut salt. The cells are, ballooning back up and forth. And the way that cells work, the cell membranes, it's kind of like if you actually take a balloon and you blow it up the first time, it's really hard to blow up. As you take the air out and then blow it up again, it's easier. Take the air out, blow it again, and the balloon, that rubber, gets thinner and thinner and thinner and thinner. And you see, if you go to Arizona or a lot of these places, you see people, their skin looks like leather. It's saggy, like this look like leather skin. And I'm like, hey, miss, how old are you? I'm 27. Whoa, wow, just like massive alcohol. It's the, dehydration, this stuff. And some people are like on a yearly cycle or like a quarterly cycle. There's ballooning back up and back down, and it thins those cell membranes, and then people get that saggy skin where they just don't look good. You're 30 years old now. When's your birthday?
September.
So it's okay. So you'll be 31 this year. do you stay pretty consistent with everything then? I mean, because you're stronger, you're abnormally strong, like doing these pistol squats and things like that. Have you always been flexible? Because I got tight hams, all that. Are you just
Uh,
like really functional?
I'm flexible in some ways, but I know I have tight hamstrings. If I'm not stretching every day, my hamstrings like I'm barely touching my toes. So I'm
Yeah.
not super flexible. Um, I I'm not a huge. I I should do a little bit more stretching. I just, you know what, I do a little bit, but not
Yeah.
enough for it to be
Right,
super
right now
flexible.
it's just after one. What have you eaten today? Anything? What do you put in your
I,
body today?
I just fasted and I had some octane and that's it.
All right. What's your first meal going to be and when?
My first meal is probably going to be in a few hours. One thing I like to break my fast with is our collagen. I do keto collagen pancakes, so I'll get some like a scoop of keto collagen, some egg whites, some rolled oats, one whole egg, and baking powder, and I'll mix that up, and then I'll fry it in some coconut oil in the pan, and with some Greek yogurt. Very, 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 very good. That's like my kind of go-to first meal, and then maybe with some raspberries, and then my dinner I'll do steak, potatoes, a little bit of veggies,
Hmm.
and I'm pretty notorious for finishing my diet off with a little bit of chocolate. So
All
I'll
right.
finish off like if I can hit 2,000 calories in those two meals, that's sort of my goal. And then I'll have like 400 calories of chocolate. So I'll kind of be like my two meals, I'll hit 1,800, 2,000 calories, and then that last little bit of chocolate. And why do I do that? Because I was probably the worst dieter in the world. I had a very hard time dieting. I would be very good. Like I'd always just kind of, it'd be very easy for me to go over. I have a big appetite. And like my father, for example, he would be eating food all day, snacking, just love food. And so I'm probably the worst dieter. And so I found that if I can finish off my day with some chocolate, I'm
Mhm.
satisfied, and then I don't have the desire to keep eating. If I was like,
Yeah.
okay, let me finish off with like, let me make this nice little sandwich thing, I would still have a temptation to keep eating. Or let me
Yeah.
have some chicken and rice. I'd be like, I want more. But the chocolate just kind of, I'm like, I'm satisfied. So one of my strategies really for getting lean is like, if you if you for example for you to get lean, if you have to eat 20, let's say it's 2,000, let's say it's someone's 2,000 calories to get lean, you want to find the most enjoyable way to hit those 2,000 calories where it's effortless. I actually recommend eating almost the same thing every day, especially when you're getting momentum, when you're trying to get that, get leaner that first month, see the progress. Pretty much eat the same thing every day. At least the first meal you have, make that the same every day. If you want to mix up dinner, that's fine, but just keep it so simple. We don't have to think.
Yeah.
And once you have a day of eating where it's just easy to stick to, you're satisfied, just keep doing that. The leanest people on earth, are the people that are the best at getting lean, they don't eat different things every day.
Yeah.
They have some variety, but just they keep it simple. Same thing with like, the billion dollar uh, business owners in the world and CEOs, they
Mhm.
wear the same
Consistency.
thing every day.
Yeah.
They
Yeah.
don't they don't they don't have 10 different outfits. Like they just, pair of jeans, black shirt, and that's it.
It's interesting. People, have a need for variety. And, and for a lot of people, they do get that from food, but it's like food and clothing that should not be. I mean, you could be more creative in other avenues of life. Like I get creative and I find variety in my life by eating different foods. Like
Yeah.
that should be consistent, and you should find other ways to work or things like
Yeah,
that.
if the most exciting thing in your life is wearing something different or trying a new piece of food, your life's boring.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I'll wear new stuff and I'll try different foods. It's just that on my day-to-day life when I'm locked in, I keep it very, very sharp. And then it's the
Actually,
80-20 rule.
I think the last time I saw you, I think we went to Owen's house. We Owen Cook. We had gone there. I still got a picture. It's on my Facebook, and I know because I remember because I'm standing on something, so I look way taller than everybody else. But we're up at Owen's house, up the hill, and we had just eaten, I think, at Soho House,
Yeah.
and I think you had a steak, and I was just like, I saw what you're eating. I was just like, I'm gonna get the same thing as him. Uh, so yeah, that's cool. Yeah, I eat red meat almost daily now, and I feel amazing. Not a lot of veggies though, huh?
Um, for me,
Yeah.
I I'm bigger fan of fruits. I genuinely enjoy vegetables, broccoli, cauliflower. So I will. That said, if I go out to a restaurant, like the amount of calories that are gonna be in these vegetables, like if I just, if someone takes some broccoli and cooks it in like a teaspoon of oil or 2 teaspoons, where they're adding an extra 50 to 80 calories, that's one thing. But at a restaurant, if you're getting Brussels sprouts or cauliflower or broccoli, it's a 500 calorie dish. And so it kills the deficit. So I'd rather just go out to dinner, have steak, have French fries, get 1,200 to 1,400 calories and just do that. Then, he's healthy. He's adding vegetables. No, you're adding 500 calories. It's like when the goal is to get lean, you have to be very intentional, and you have to kind of be very, just get the, steak and potatoes, or get the steak and potatoes, and then if you're gonna be cooking at home, then do vegetables. But at a restaurant, like it's not worth it. Trust me. Like if they actually have the calories on the menu, they're giving you broccoli for 500 calories minimum.
I'll cut it out. Potato smelling. So
unless they're doing like boiled broccoli, whatever. But if it's a tasty side dish from a nice restaurant, they're making it delicious. That's their goal. The goal isn't to keep you lean. The goal is to make it delicious. So
make it
steak, you're getting steak. Potatoes, you're getting potatoes. Vegetables, they're making it tasty for you.
Yeah. Yeah. I know when we connected, and taking all that you've learned, you started doing these YouTube videos. So when I kind of go to like the marketing stuff and what you've done there, how many subscribers on YouTube now?
I have just over 500,000, but I'm not necessarily a YouTuber anymore. I'll throw up a couple of videos here and there, but like the days of me posting, consistently, that was back when I was 24. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, because you had that one video, the Batman type video, Bruce Wayne.
The real Bruce Wayne, yeah.
Yeah, that one, and that just took off. Like that just went viral, and it was just beautifully shot. And you did a couple other ones after that that are just so cinematic, so cool. That was, not a lot of people were doing that type of stuff back then. Like nobody was. And I mean, now you can do it for much less of a cost, but just those years ago, it was just quite a bit into it. So it was just really cool how you've marketed yourself. What is the main marketing that you guys do now? Through Instagram?
Yeah, we run Google ads, Facebook ads, and through my Instagram, we have a pretty sizable email list. So pretty much a little bit on YouTube, but mostly Instagram, email list, Google, Facebook ads. Yeah.
That's awesome. And so, just kind of backing up a bit, what have been the biggest influences on your life, like growing up, that's kind of shaped your just psychology, philosophy on life, business, health, everything?
Yeah. So, I mean, I had probably a handful of fitness people that I researched and followed, where I learned something from them. And then, some of the stuff I liked, some of their stuff I didn't like, some of the stuff I liked, but I took what I could. So there's definitely a handful of fitness mentors, some that did fasting, and business. So for the fitness mentors, I mean, they're like Brad Pilon was into fasting, Martin Burkhan, Rusty Moore, this guy Ross Enamade I used to follow when I was a lot younger, even Joe DeFranco. There is quite a handful of fitness people that I definitely utilized. And then I learned a lot from Eckhart Tolle, Power of Now. That was really, really helpful. I got into a little bit of self-hypnosis stuff, not by any like, I read some self-hypnosis books and just kind of did some self-hypnosis routines. I like some of Joseph Dispenza's stuff.
I love him. Yeah.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah. He's got some cool, I like the idea of like, really being like whatever it is you want to. I mean, Eckhart Tolle speaks to this in A New Earth, but like your external reality it's the reflection of your internal reality. And so, a lot of times I even found myself, I'm chasing something. It's not coming. It's not coming. I want to bring something into my life. It's not coming. I'm like, well, what is going on inside me? And what is the story I'm telling myself inside me? What am I feeling inside me? And if you can like create the feeling and the state internally and feel that gratitude, like some of those things that in your life, like some things in life, this is what I learned, is that some things in life just come like that, you know. Sometimes people get into business and the money starts coming and coming and coming, and they're making more and more and more and more. Other people get into business and they freaking are running in circles. They get a little bit of progress, running in circles, and trying to do the same thing. Like they get stuck. Sometimes it's strategy. Sometimes you don't have the right, sometimes, it's, you don't have the right business model or technique, or strategy, but sometimes it's like something inside you is blocking you. And then sometimes the people that are crushing in business, then their relationship life is not working, and they can't get, so I find that sometimes that more woo-woo stuff can be helpful if you're doing everything right and you're stuck.
That's good stuff. Yeah. Going back, so you're 30 now. If you had to go back to say your 18-year-old self and give that version of you some advice based on where you are now, like what would that be? What would you do differently? What would you tell that version of you?
Yeah, my 18-year-old self was pretty much, I was in university at the time, but I was like disenfranchised and pretty much getting ready to drop out. I actually was very, very on point at 18, 19, 20. The only thing I did wrong, I was extremely passionate, extremely driven, extremely dedicated to achieving my goals. I didn't really have much of a life. I didn't have much of a social life. So I would kind of nudge myself more to like, hey, you can build your business and have a little bit more social time. That said, honestly, like I don't necessarily regret that, because it definitely helped me get to where I was. So, I think 18, 19, like those years, I definitely like the advice I'd give to myself is more so maybe in the mid, more my mid 20s that I would give myself advice. Cause I that's kind of probably more where I needed it. But at 18, 19, 20, like that's when, hey, I started Kino Body. I was driven. I wasn't drinking much. I was just like laser focused to my goals. I did struggle for a while to get lean, but that struggle helped me really create the courses that I've created. So I could have told myself, I could have shortened the process to figure out my fitness stuff if I talked to myself at 18, where I could have spent 2 or 3 years just trying to diet way too extreme, lose the weight way too quickly, go way too low in calories, cut out the car. I just kind of spent years just doing what I should not have done, but it helped create what I've created. But yeah,
do you have kind of like a guiding philosophy now, that like a psychology or like a purpose to what you do that kind of guides you?
Overall, or in fitness per se?
Overall, more overall, like life stuff.
You know what, man, I'm gonna have to sign up for some of your coaching. I don't know if I have a pure cut life purpose. I do value being in very, very good shape. I value, being present and driven towards my goals. I think in the last few months, I've really gotten a lot more driven to building my company. But I mean, I value having someone in my life. Like, I value, dating life, or having a woman that I love in my life. I value, growing my business, being in great shape.
It's cool. It's like there's something, and I don't know who said this to me, as I started my own entrepreneur journey. It's like people don't just buy what you do, they buy why you do what you do. So as far as like having a guiding philosophy or like a belief about what you do or people or what, it's important to sit with that. And I know you've gone through the Tully books, and I remember I've seen you post about it a couple of times, and it reminded me, and I went back to Power of Now and A New Earth and all of that. So it's good to think about, because we can all have that dark night of the soul, or transitions come up for us. For you, I wanted to ask you this specifically though, because I've known you for a bunch of years, and you're in these videos. There's this massive house that was like, your dad's house and he had passed away. Like, so like, what did he do? Like, because it's kind of an anomaly. You see this young guy with this huge house. What's kind of the backstory with all of that?
Sure.
Somebody's going to ask me, and I'm thinking like, why didn't I ask him that?
Yeah. So, well, just to mention right now, like, that's pretty profound. People buy what you do, but they also buy, why you do what you do. That's important.
They want to connect to you, because there's a lot of people, like even for me, I do sales training, whatever. And, kind of the backstory that we infuse on all my, podcast things that I get on other people's stuff, kind of my backstory. And for those of you listening, you'll probably hear me say this a bajillion times, but I talk about my struggle. So you have like your ordinary and your extraordinary, and show your why. So I was like really quiet kid. Now, and then I felt lost, got into sales, didn't know what I was doing. I struggled, saw this guy, Tony Robbins, was really inspired. And I said, if this dude can turn around a suicide, I wonder if I can use some of those same techniques to turn around sales. Turns out 9 figures, $100 million in sales later, turns out we can. And if somebody uses those techniques, they can connect with people to not just turn around a suicide, but turn people around to get their life turned around. And so that's the techniques. So there's like a hook meaning, and I'm infusing stuff like my humble brag. So we do that. And it's people say, well, this is different. And so like with your stuff with the Kino body and intermittent fast, it's like, it's different. People are like, what's different? Who's this person? And so we try to infuse a lot of that into just the influence, because it's clear. It's good to have that hook into what you do. And it gets people, as you create a personal brand. Even for somebody like Grant Cardone, I did the first interview at his studio, and I'm going to interview him. Once he really started to blow up, he did the 10X and all of that, but he started sharing his story about like dad dying, drugs, 25, going into rehab, his brother dying, all of that. And that's when his brand really took off.
Wow.
And so it's like people love that stuff, and it feels good too for the entrepreneur, I think. So I always try to, share some of that on, even in my talks when I was selling against everybody else for Tony. This is part of the reason I outsold everybody else in the company, is because people were connected to me, not just Tony. So I think it's important.
I'm going to start introducing some of that why. It makes perfect sense.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Well, I'll help you flesh it out. We got some worksheets. I'll just send them to you.
Yeah, I'm in.
Cool,
we'll connect on that after. But so my father, Michael O'Gallagher, he was in real estate. He started a company, met Cap, and he started with nothing. He, convinced some people to give him money, and he was able to start buying and building a real estate portfolio across Canada. And he kind of started in his early 30s, built it for 15 years until he was 45, and built the biggest privately owned real estate company in Canada. I think Goldman Sachs, they wanted to do an IPO with him. It was a huge, he ended up saying no. He turned it down. And then he passed away, and for my family, and it was the right decision. We sold the company. And he was the vision of the company. Without him, the company wasn't necessarily on the right track. And so I think when he was before he passed away, a few years before he passed away, he wanted to, when he was battling cancer, leukemia, he wanted to really build his family's dream home. Before that, we lived in like more of a normal sized house. We weren't in a mansion before that. We lived in a relatively normal house for a family of 5. So like with 5-bedroom house, but like just a normal house, like a quarter of the size. And he wanted to build his dream home. He also wanted to build a home as like a personal statement, like a statement that, hey, I'm going to beat this cancer. I'm going to go back to my family with this in our beautiful home. And he built that house, and we had to tear down like another house, and just it was his dream home. Was built out of limestone, slate roof. Had one of the top architects in Canada build it. There's a lot of mansions in Canada where they're fucking made of cheap materials. This mansion is definitely very, very, very meaningful to me. And yeah, so he built the home, and then we moved in, and
how old were you when he passed?
11. And so we moved in, and then moved in end of end of the summer, and then like a few months later, he passed away.
Hmm. Well, at least he got to see it. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, you got to see, you got to enjoy it, and you got to, know that his family was going to have this, beautiful house to live in, and then for Christmases and everything, like, if you have 15, 20 people, everyone fits in the house, and it's, it's a beautiful, beautiful house that's brought my family close, and yeah, that's the story. So it's my father. My father built a, incredible
How long did
company.
it take to build a house like that?
I think it was a few
Few
it was a
years.
few years.
Yeah.
It took some time. It was a
Yeah, that's not a
process.
just pop up type thing. My
No.
father passed away this last year, and I remember going to visit him one day. He lived in this old farmhouse, and he had this vision of moving out of the house and moving into the garage and renting out the house to get some extra money to buy some extra beer. That was my dad, and he did move into the garage, and so he passed away this last year, living in a garage. Very very different.
Yeah. So
His mansion
very,
was a small tin garage that he lived in for the last probably about 20 years. So very, very different vision, but he
yeah.
got what he wanted. So that's beautiful that he was able to build that. And you guys, your family still has that. So I guess your mom, so you have what, brothers and sisters?
Yeah, I have three brothers, a sister, so a family of five kids.
Yeah. Oh, they older, younger?
One older brother, and then a younger sister and two younger brothers. We're all around, 24 to 32.
Yeah. They fit too, like business fit, entrepreneur. What do they do?
I'm definitely more of the like entrepreneur type. They all finished school. I dropped out. They're, my one younger brother, Bryden, he's working at a biotech company in Boston, and he works out quite a bit. He's pretty fit. And then my other two brothers are, in a company and doing some sales stuff. And 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 yeah, my sister's doing just working with kids in some capacity.
That's cool. Up there, all in Toronto.
Uh, all in Toronto except for my younger brother Bryden. He's in Boston. Uh, and yeah, and I'm pretty much in Toronto, but now I'm back on my kind of schedule of spending half the time in Toronto, half the time in Miami, LA. We'll see.
Yeah. So the business. So you created this business. You've got this beautiful backstory and all you've created. You pioneer in this intermittent fasting world. And also, I know you're not doing YouTube stuff, but those videos. I mean, most people, at least back, have seen that video, and now you're doing all the ads. So you've kind of removed yourself. You had like a marketing. So you had this product. You productized this, and then you did some marketing. But now, and you had like a firm that you were working with back then. Now it's all in-house. You do your own marketing. Probably it's all systems, and you create these products and market. And you create this. How many people do you think have gone through your program?
Yeah, all my programs combined, probably. So I've been doing this since like 22. But it really started to get big when I was 24, 25. 500,000 for sure.
Wow. Yeah, that's cool. That's
Yeah.
I guess when I met you, like 24, back Owen and Ty, we were all hanging out in LA and all that. So yeah, so that's awesome, man. So you've got these products and now the clothes and everything. What's kind of next? You've got this thing launching now, this monthly program where people can get, fitness advice. Kind of let us know what that's all about. Like, what if people want to get involved in what you do and where your company is going, kind of give people some insight as to like what's next for you.
Yeah, right now I'm just basically I'm simplifying everything. I've learned like having, creating so many fitness courses, so many different, places to go. It's quite complicated. So I'm simplifying something. If you want to get into insane shape, learn my system, be part of the club, be part of the community, and get support along your transformation over the next 3-6 months. The first step is really joining the Kino Club. Get inside the Kino Club. You'll get the right program for you. You'll get the support. You'll be part of the community that will help level you up. And then there's that. And then, get the Kino Octane on kinobody.com. Pick up our Kino Octane pre-workout, our collagen protein. Start taking that every day for more focus, energy, better performance. And that's pretty much, that's pretty much it. Join Kino Club, get into insane shape, drink Octane, and then, then hang out on the YouTube channel, the Instagram, and then I'm going to be doing some really cool content inside the Kino Club. So that's I've learned that I've done coaching programs, and I've learned that, like, when you're part of the group, when you're part of the camaraderie, when you're active every day, when you're interacting with people, the success rate is so much higher. And so we're kind of rechanging the format, the community.
Awesome. We have another mutual friend, Marcel. I met him about a year ago, and he connected me with another guy, a gentleman who's become one of my best friends as well, named Chase Hughes, who we'll be interviewing soon. And he's like top FBI kind of, CIA.
I've heard of him.
Military. It's like just awesome guy. Like he's just unbelievable with hypnosis, persuasion, all of that. And so, just a note for all of you here. Chase has this authority triangle. So your capacity to be influential, be an authority, it affects your income, your livelihood, how people perceive you. It's a big deal. And so being perceived as an authority, that people respect, affects everything. And so we kind of have this authority triangle thing, something I go through every day, something I measure myself on daily: movement, appearance, confidence, connection, and intent. So without giving too much context there, one of the first things that I mentioned is movement and appearance. And so for all of you listening right now, I definitely went through a period where, I've modeled all that stuff and I was obsessed about how I looked, super insecure. And then I went through this phase where, like, it doesn't matter, just eat whatever. And like, I'm kind of like anti-caring about what I look like. But people judge you based on your appearance and how you move. If you have bad posture, bad skin, bad hygiene, if you're not physically fit, like, people get noticed. And if you can, like, there's so much shit we have to deal with in life, and life can be pretty tough. Like, being seen as fit and healthy, like, you can mess up in business and relationship and all of that. Like, life has got enough challenges. This is like the one area of your life you have control over, is like what you put in your face, to affect like how much money you make and your appearance and all of that. And Greg's outlined a really simple system, but despite the simple system, intermittent fasting, and you can do supplements, all this stuff to look good, and they can give you clothes, all those things. A lot of people still struggle with their weight, with body image, using food as a place to get entertained or fill themselves up with loneliness. So it's not just a little bit of people. It's like the majority of people are having this struggle. For those people, say, that are in their early 20s, or even grown men, like anybody, male or woman, that is struggling in life right now, that, is maybe eating too much or not connected to themselves. What advice would you give somebody right now that's struggling with their weight, with their confidence, that's not working out, or just doesn't feel good about themselves? What would you say to somebody, maybe like a 24-year-old version of yourself who's struggling to find their own voice and get in shape and have a good life?
Yeah. So deep down, look, if someone's going to transform, it's not going to be me doing it for you. It's going to be you. Mm-hmm. You have to actually want to improve your body. You actually have to want to transform your body. One of the keys, the most important things to becoming successful is, how bad do you want it? Do you actually want it? Because if two people are competing, the one that wants it more, 9 times out of 10 is going to win. And so a lot of people these days are apathetic. They're apathetic. They're watching Netflix all day. They're snacking all day, and they've lost that drive. They've lost that motivation. And I will tell you right now, when you get into amazing shape, when you start improving your body, when you're getting leaner every day, every week, life gets so much better. Doors fucking are blasted wide open. And so there's so much potential for your life to be improved once you tackle this goal. To make this happen, and to make it happen now, and to get the results really, really quickly, one, you have to find actually a fitness approach that you can actually stick to, that you can enjoy, that fits with your lifestyle. Mm-hmm. If you're in the gym doing, 75 hard, you're doing 2 workouts a day, never able to have a glass of wine or have any sugar. If you're doing something that deep down, you can do it for a temporary period of time, but then it's not sustainable, scrap that garbage. It's not going to help you. You're wasting your time. You have to do something where this can be your new lifestyle. If it can't be your new lifestyle, it's complete garbage. It's bullshit. It's never going to work. It's never going to help you. You're going to go there and back. Everyone knows people that do it. My approach, you can do this for life. Once you get adapted to fasting, you're gonna be more productive. You're gonna be more effective, more successful. You're gonna be able to enjoy and delicious meals. I can go out to a restaurant. I can order the biggest entree on the restaurant, steak, potatoes, and get leaner. I can fit in chocolate. If I want to have a couple drinks here and there, I can. So you need to find a fitness approach that you can actually, that fits with your lifestyle. You can do long term. And then the goal is to get momentum as fast as possible. So it's very often that people kind of start something and they're kind of dipping their feet in it. They're on, they're off. They have some days that are good, some bad days, this and that. If you want to get in shape, you have to go all in or all out. So, as soon as you start, okay, boom, find out what am I going to eat that day? Write it down before you're going to eat that day. Okay, great. I'm going to have this as my first meal, this for dinner, this for dessert. Keep it simple. The first couple of weeks, eat the same thing every day. Guess what? Okay. If you eat something you enjoy every day, you're still going to enjoy it. It's going to be good. Like, I'm not telling you eat chicken breast and broccoli every day. I'm like, hey, if you want to have that nice little steak at dinner or if you want to make pancakes or have a little, like, eat something you enjoy every day, we're in a calorie deficit. And the goal is just to build momentum. Just crush the first few days, crush the first week. Oh my God, you're leaner. Wow. Like, this is what happens when people do my system. Like, I don't get it, Greg. How am I able to eat all of this and I'm getting leaner? This does not make sense. This can't possibly work. They doubt it because it's so easy. Get your 10,000 steps in every day. So you're walking an hour a day. You're hitting the gym and doing strength training 3 days a week to maintain muscle and to kind of build that movie star body. And that's really all it is. You get brisk walking and daily 3 hard workouts a week, lifting, challenging weights, and crushing the deficit and the fasting and just making the diet so easy. And in a matter of time, you're going to have the best body of your life.
That's awesome. So I'm hearing here, make sure it's sustainable. None of these extreme diets. Make sure that you want it. That was number 1. Sustainable. None of this like crazy stuff. It's got to be enjoyable for you. Start, get momentum, and have a community. Be a part of something, and not have to stress out about it, and enjoy some meals here and there. It should be a part of your life. I think right around the time I met you, I was a fitness coach for a while, and my brand was called 7-Figure Body, 6 steps to a 7-figure body in 8 weeks for entrepreneurs that are destroying their health to build their wealth. Let's look at these 6 steps, stress management, nutrition, training, all of that. And my tagline was this. I say, most of these people out there, they're obsessed with the gym. Of course, all these Instagram people, like, they look good because they're working out 3 hours a day and they're measuring everything. Like, their whole life is built around, the whole purpose of their life is to be fit and healthy. But then I said, but you and I are meant for more than that. The purpose of our life isn't to be fit and healthy, but let's get fit and healthy so we can live the purpose of our life. And, for entrepreneurs, which you are, I am, we're busy, no time for all of that. And it's just so stressful to focus on what you're going to eat and all that stuff. But if you can create a simple system, also, if you are somebody struggling, it's like, it's really hard to be creative and find, be present in a relationship if your back's hurting. It's hard to be confident if you're like, sucking in your gut all the time and you look in the mirror and you look tired and like shit. And so it's such a foundational principle, but so many people struggle with it. And so it's really cool that you've been able to do this for so many people. And, before we go here, is there any last words you want to share with people? Or is there, the better question is this, is there any question that I should have asked you that I didn't ask you here today?
That we've covered a lot. I mean, the only thing I will finish off on the fitness element is that, people are like, well, dude, how do you build this body on 3 workouts a week and what, you eat chocolate? Look, to create physical change, we have to just do 2 things. If you want to build an incredible body, one, most importantly, you have to get lean. Getting leaner is literally just being in a calorie deficit. It doesn't matter if you eat 7 meals a day, chicken breast. I mean, that actually makes it hard to be in a calorie deficit, but it's literally just being in a calorie deficit that handles fat loss, making sure you get enough protein, helps with muscle retention. But that's pretty much it. Make the diet so easy where you're in a deficit easily. You're making sure you're basing your diet off making sure you get enough protein. And then the idea that you have to work out nonstop is completely wrong. You actually want to work out when you're fresh. You want to work out when you're 100%. That's when you're able to actually build the most muscle and improve your body the most, not when you're just exhausted. And so 3 workouts a week allow your body to have incredible recovery. You get stronger and you rebuild when you're resting, not when you're in the gym. Now, if one of these fitness coaches, if they're on, anabolic steroids and they're taking gear, they can train 2 hours a day, recover better, come back and be stronger. But if you're natural, it's not realistic. Your body needs more rest. You need more recovery. You can't go hard 2 hours a day without burning out. You can do it, but you're not going to be progressing. The most important thing with training is that you come back stronger, that you're able to get that one extra rep. And so most of these fitness coaches, they design programs in the gym all day, but no one's getting that extra rep. Maybe in the beginning, but not after month 3, 4. Yeah. My clients, they train less, but we train with intensity and we train with intent, and they come back and they get the extra rep and they get the extra 5 pounds, and then they're hitting personal records and they're getting leaner. And that's why their physique looks so good, doing 10% of what everyone else is doing. They're in the deficit. They're making it so easy. They're getting enough protein. They're getting their steps in, which is good to make sure that, the fat loss is humming really nice. And then they're getting the extra reps and the extra weight. And they're doing it in the perfect routine that's crafted towards the physique we want to build, where they're developing the shoulders, the waist to hit, the waist to shoulder ratio. And they end up all coming out looking like freaking movie stars. And very few people in fitness have actually cracked the code and actually really looked at what actually creates the physique we want. People just want more and more and more, this, that. It's like, no, I've refined the system to the essential. And guess what? I don't care how busy you are. There's not an excuse in the world why you can't do this. There's not an excuse in the world why you can't go to the gym 3 days a week. There's not an excuse in the world why, you can't fast, and hit your calories. You can do it. I've had people that have freaking families and 2, 3 jobs transform on this system. So it's incredible stuff. We're going to be, crushing the Keynote Club. So make sure you apply to join, get in, and the Octane. That's it.
That's awesome, brother. Well, I'm enjoying this bamboo shirt that I have on, feeling good. So this is cool, man. When you come down here to Miami, we'll have to catch a workout in ourselves. I'm gonna work out tonight. I'm fired up.
Hell yeah. We'll do a workout for sure. Okay, man.
Awesome. Cool, buddy. Appreciate you, buddy. And for everybody here, hopefully you got as much value out of this, at least some inspiration, and hopefully you'll be easier on yourself and just stick to a routine, follow these steps here. You'll have more energy and you'll use that in your capacity to be more influential. But you cannot give that which you don't possess. And so what you need to possess from this is a standard, some discipline, some structure, a little bit of routine to really make the rest of your life the best of your life. So that's going to require you to really build a foundation within yourself, because you can't influence others unless you influence yourself. And so managing what you put in your own face every day, super duper important as you build the foundation for you to help a lot of people and be the best and most influential version of yourself. Until the next time, this is Eli and Greg signing off, and hope you're having a powerful day. Take care. Bye-bye.
All right.